Who are two of the key cognitive development theorists, and what are their main contributions to the field of cognitive development?
Piaget's theory is based on the idea that children build cognitive structures to develop their understanding. Piaget was the first to develop a stage theory of cognitive development, a theory that has direct consequence on the way that I would teach in the classroom. The first stage is the sensory-motor stage, where the child from birth to 12 years explores his environment. The second stage is called the pre-operational stage. In that stage, the child from 2 until 7 develops his thinking structure for logical thought. The child has to learn to be free from his or her egocentrism, perception of the world in relation to oneself. As a child moves to the concrete stage of development, he is able to use logical thoughts to analyze relationships and to structure his environment into meaningful categories. Vygotsky believes strongly that community plays a central role in the process of learning as well as the language. Vygotsky invented the concept of zone of proximal development, ZBD, which is the gap between the present level of development and the potential level of development. Vygotsky believes that with the help of more knowledgeable people, the child can potentially gain knowledge already held by them.
Who are two of the key moral development theorists, and what are their main contributions to the field of moral development?
Piaget distinguishes the heteronomous stage where sense of right and wrong are detected by others, with the autonomous stage where children have an internal sense of what is right and wrong. In the second stage, people think that rules are changeable and focus on the intention of the action. Kohlberg observes a developmental change from externally controlled behavior to internally controlled behavior. Kohlberg develops 6 levels. Stage 1, obedience and punishment. Stage 2, self-interest. Stage 3, the child wants to be a good child. Stage 4, conformism, to obey to the rules. Stage 5, social contract, individual rights and ethical principle. Stage 6 is to do good even if that can contradict social law.
Why do you think it's important for teachers to have an understanding of cognitive and moral development?
Teachers maximize the success of students in both the academic and the social realism of their lives. This comprehension enables teachers to access the development of students to give basis to understand right and wrong, kindness, fairness, caring, and teachers build people who can join the society. This understanding can also be used to minimize problems in the classroom, potentially avoiding frustration and the undermining of the authority.
How will knowing about theories of cognitive and moral development help you in your teaching practice?
For my teaching practice, the theories of cognitive development will help me to give the students appropriate challenges and remind me that slower or faster students will need an adapted response. With regard to moral development theory, I would introduce moral questions and the solving of moral issues. If I teach year 5 or 6, I know that I can challenge students in the same way that Ralph Esquith does. He applies Kohlberg's theories in his classroom. I would ask them to examine their own behavior and to be aware of their own intention.
Can you please provide an example of the application of cognitive development in the classroom? In your example, please specify the grade to which your example applies.
Asking students which are the main ideas of a narrative passage would be more suitable by age of 10-11, which is grade 6, 5-6. According to Piaget, children at this stage are able to articulate main ideas because the child at the concrete stage of development is able to use logic thoughts.
Can you please provide an example of the application of moral development in the classroom? In your example, please specify the grade to which your example applies.
Most grade 5 students, 10 years old and beyond, are able to follow the 6 stages of moral development. developed by Lawrence Kohlberg. As a teacher, I could stick a chart like this one on the wall of the classroom at the beginning of the year. At first, I would show them example, then I would ask the entire class to reflect on their positive behaviors by recognizing students who have demonstrated any of these levels in the classroom. Students could do moral problem solving and use this chart as a reference tool. Students will begin to take ownership over their character and school behaviors.